Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bagasiri Setiawan, number 156. I'm from class ESPP, and I will answer the middle test ESP. Number one, what is ESP? ESP for or English for Special Purpose is a new approach in teaching and using English for special field and studies that are in accordance with the need of the field science and profession that use English. ESP is generally used in foreign language teaching for content used in content field of science and professions. This goal is generally understood as a brief in a role of English as main communication, both oral and written. Therefore, ESP should be seen as an approach, concept, and method different from general English. ESP is an approach to teaching English that has different approaches, perception, design, material, evaluation, and goals. ESP material reveal to students' need and graduate user themselves. Number two, three main reasons to emergence of ESP. Reason of emergence of ESP by Hutchinson and Waters debate ESP as an approach to language teaching in which all decision as the content and method are based on the learner reason in learning. According to Hutchinson and Waters, 119 and 187, there are three main reasons for emergences of ESP. The first is the demand of brave new word. For example, English, which has previously determined its own destiny, has often become subject to the want, need, and demands of people other than the language teacher. And next, revolution in linguistics in English language teaching. This gave rise to the view that there are important differences between, say, the English of commercial and the ed of engineer. Third, the focus on the learner. Learner were seen to have different needs and interests which would have an important influence on their motivation to learn and therefore the activeness of their learning. This lends support to the development of course in which relevant to the learner need and interest was paramount. And the number three, elaborated four characteristics of ESP. The first, ESP is specifically designed to meet the special need of students. ESP can use in certain teaching situations, utilizing the methodologies and activities that underlie the discipline itself. Number three, ESP is centered on language, grammar, lexis, register, skill, discourses, and genres that are appropriate to the activity. Most of ESP courses assume basic knowledge of language system but can be used with beginner. Number four, explain the procedure need. Number four, explain the procedure of need analysis in ESP. Need analysis is also regarded as demand or requirement need, which has become a necessary and important step of course design for either general English course or English for specific purpose course. Learner needs has been the principle of the curriculum development of ESP. Need analysis can help teachers gather information to find out how much the student already know what they will still need to learn. Number 5. For differences characteristic between EGP and ESP. ESP is English for specific purpose and EGP is English general purpose. First, ESP focus on training as the English is intended to be used specific vocational context. Selection of appropriate context is easier. EGP focus on the English language in primary and secondary school education. Course content is more difficult to select since the further English need the learner are hard to predict. And second, ESP concentration more on language in context than on teaching grammar and language structure. EGP is to achieve a high standard of everyday English communication skill. Third, ESP teacher is basically involved training operation, equipping the learner with a restricted competence to cope with the divine text. EGP teacher, on the contrary, is involved in an educational operation, equipping learner with a general capacity to cope with undefined eventualities in the future. Fourth, in ESP is a need analysis that determine which language skills are most needed by the student and the syllabus is designed accordingly. EGP course content is more difficult to select since the further English need the learner are hard to predict. Number 6. Three approaches to need analysis. Number 1. Necessity. The term necessity is most essential to identify the target need for ESP syllabus. In ESP, usually necessities are the category of need determined by demands of target situation. That is, what the learner has to know in order function effectively in the target situation. Number 2, like the second component of the target need is to identify the lack of the learner. To specify the lack, we first evaluate the first level of language proficiency that have been already had. Once we can have an idea, we can evaluate how far they need to progress to fulfill necessity mentioned above. And the third wants. The third component of analyzing need is a want. A learner may have a clear conception of the necessities of the target situation. They will definitely have a view about their lack, but it's not impossible that the learner will have their own view and the learner view may conflict with the perception of other interest groups like ESP practitioner sponsoring. And the number 7, why need analysis is important in ESP? Because need analysis can be a vital asset for teachers of English for specific purpose to identify that the learner's key requirement or need and determine the areas which are lacking skill. Need analysis aim to present learner wants, needs, and lack prior to organizing a course. According to Bernstein, need analysis is the key to collect insider view of the ESP situation, and the view of chosen learner are utmost importance. It is demanded as a learner-centered approach that develops learner language capacity to be successful on their job sphere or academic need. A need analysis is essential and primary step which help to identify the learner need, desire, and prerequisites. Uh, that's all the question of middle test of ESP. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.